This is my second time here. They actually got to have me back, so that's cool. I appreciate them having me back. My first special came out about a year and a half ago, and it did better than I ever could expected. But it was the first thing I ever had out there that had enough traction where people would actually leave comments on my comedy. And I'm stupid enough where I will read those comments. But I'm also a comedian, so I only notice the negative parts of it, you know? And the one guy that got me, that bugged me, he just had a 4-word comment after my set. 4 words after the end of it, and just 4 words, and it just said, "A fat Harry Potter." Not exactly constructive criticism is what I'm getting at. But I was talking to my wife about this. She said, why do you read that? I said, this guy called me a fat Harry Potter. I looked at her, I was like, Danny, do I look like Harry Potter? She's like, Chad, you do not look like Harry Potter. And I said, am I fat? And she said, Chad, you do not look like Harry Potter. I understand sometimes people just don't know what to say after a show. I get it. I had a woman come up to me after a show, and she said, I would like to give you a compliment. I said, okay, what's that? She said, I'm not sure if you're funnier than the other guy, but he's better looking. I said, I'm not sure you know what the word compliment means. But I've been on stage about a minute now, and I haven't been physically escorted off stage, which means by definition, this can't be the worst show that I've ever had. Yeah, because here's that story. I was doing some stuff in Atlanta, and I was driving back to Missouri. Now, if you know anything about geography, I have to go across the very western part of Tennessee. As I'm going through there, a guy calls me, it's a comedy booker, and he said, hey, I just checked your schedule. Is there any chance you're near such and such Tennessee? And I punched it up, I'm like, yeah, I'm like 20 minutes from there. He said, that's amazing. He said, I just had a guy cancel a show on me. He said, it starts in about an hour. He said, why don't you just go by and do the show? Just tell him you're him. Always a good start. They're going to pay you in cash. I'll even bonus you for bailing me out, and then you can go on home. So I get to this gig, and it was for the Tennessee chapter of PETA, the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals. Now, I have just given you a piece of information that I didn't get. So I go up there, I tell my first joke, ha, 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 we're off and running, right? Now, the whole venue, it's kind of set up like this. The stage is higher, and it's metal folding chairs. And it's along the rectangle in front row of these chairs. All these women are holding small dogs. Like, what's the story with these dogs? And they said, these are our therapy animals. And I said, I've heard that phrase before, but what exactly does that mean? And the guy in the back yells out, he goes, those are animals that help keep us calm and relaxed. All right. Guy goes, do you have a therapy animal? I was like, well, I guess mine's a cow. And he's like, how is a cow a therapy animal? I said, well, it keeps me calm and relaxed to know I have a freezer full of beef. Physically escorted out the door by 2 80-year-olds wearing matching cat sweaters. That's kind of the way that went. But it is great to be here. And you will hear every comedian in the world say, oh, it's great to be here, it's great to be here. And what that really means in the comedian world is it's great to be getting paid. That's what that means. You know, I'm not trying to destroy the illusion of comedy for anybody, but if we were doing this across the street in the pharmacy, it'd be great to be there. I mean, that's just kind of the way things work. But I've got a little bit of a different story for that now because I work cruise ships every once in a while. And I was supposed to take a boat, and my flight coming out of Dallas-Fort Worth got delayed, and the boat left without me. Now, what the cruise lines do when this happens, they fly you ahead to the next port city. So that way, when the boat gets there, you're already there, and you just catch the boat and make up any shows. If you missed them, that's the way they take care of those things. So that's what it did. I was supposed to catch a boat out of Cozumel, and they fly me ahead, and I stay at the hotel, start to leave the next morning, and the girl said, okay, the van's going to be on your way to pick you up. I was like, okay, that sounds good. I said, how far am I away from the boat? She goes, like 4 or 5. I'm like, oh, perfect. So I'll be on the boat in like 20 minutes. And she said, no, 4 to 5 hours. 4 to 5 hours. And then the first part of the conversation replays in my head, the van's going to pick you up. I'm going to be in a van going across Mexico for 4 to 5 hours. I've seen forensic files. I know how some of these stories start off, you know. So the van comes and picks me up and we leave. Super nice guy, but he looked at me and said, "Do you talk the Spanish?" No. He said, "I don't talk the English." And I said, "I picked up on that." And he said, "How about radio?" And there's one working speaker behind my head. And I'm like, okay, fine, let's listen to the radio. And this guy loved Whitney Houston, which was really weird to me, you know. Because we're driving 4 hours across the back parts of Mexico, the parts that you don't see on the travel brochures. I mean, we're seeing the abandoned cars and the burned out buildings and everything's got graffiti on. I'm kind of looking at all this, and it's kind of sad. And the whole time I've got, I want to dance with somebody. In my head, it was so weird, right? So we finally, around the corner, and I can see the top of the boat. It's like, finally. As we're going up there, the Mexican police go and they form a single file line across this road we're supposed to go up. And I thought, oh, well, this can't get any worse. As I think that, about 20 yards behind them, the Mexican military line up behind them. I mean, fatigues, automatic weapons, the real thing. I was like, oh, I stand corrected. This has got much, much worse. And the guy goes up there and he rolls down the window. Now, I don't know what they're saying because, number one, I don't talk the Spanish. And number two, I can't hear him anyway because I have "I Will Always Love You" blasting at 8,000 decibels in my head. So he goes up there, he makes this little horseshoe turn, he turns around and looks at me and goes, "You must get out." And I said, "Well, how am I supposed to get to the boat?" And he said, "Walk." And I said, "Is everything okay?" And he said, "No." And I said, "You picked up on that English pretty quick." So I had to get out of the van and walk the last quarter of a mile, dragging my bags through gravel and dirt as the Mexican military are on both sides of me, finger on triggers, just waiting for me to do something wrong so they can open up fire on me. So when I tell you tonight, Provo, that it is great to be here, I mean, it is fantastic to be here. It's always nice coming to cities to work. I come from about 900 people, so this is a big city to me. But I see it as a city for different reasons. You know, I was driving around today. I passed a Dollar Tree and a Dollar General. You people are big time as far as I'm concerned. Holy cow, look at this place. I don't do a lot of preaching when I'm here. A lot of times I get up here and tell you what to think and what to believe and who to vote for. You're big people. Figure that out for yourself. It's not my job. But if I have any advice, it's for the guys in the crowd. Fellas, learn to appreciate the Dollar Tree. That's about as deep as I get up here. Women love that store. That place is magic. That's the only store my wife and I don't fight in. That's it. You put us in the middle of Dollar Tree, we're the most happily married couple you'll ever see in your life. You see us walking out of Walmart or Target, somebody's usually hurt, you know. But I love a store like the Dollar Tree because I finally have a place now where I can take my wife and go, "Baby, anything here you want." But she legitimately likes shopping there. She will buy so much stuff at the Dollar Tree, she'll confuse the employees. She asked the guy behind the counter and said, "Well, do you guys take checks?" And he was like, "I don't know. No one's ever bought that much crap at one time before." I'm not sure. This should be the part of the show where I tell you about all these exciting adventures I have on the road, you know, but I really don't have any. I got kicked out of a Lowe's Hardware last month. That was kind of weird. Because I go there at the beginning of September and they're setting up the Christmas displays in September. And the girl walks up to me and said, "Sir, can I help you find anything?" I said, "Yeah, do you sell calendars?" And she said, "Yes, we do." I said, "Does anybody here know how to read one?" I was doing some stuff in Lexington. I was driving back to Missouri. My buddy called me and said, "Hey, what are you doing?" I'm like, "Right now, I'm driving through Illinois." He said, "That is so ironic. My aunt used to live in Indiana." What do you know? I know you need to look up the word ironic. That's not, actually. Last time I was in Indiana, I went by this auction. I'm a big auction, you know, garage sale kind of guy. And at the auction, they started to auction off food. And the guy goes, "Okay, our first food item up for bid is some tortillas." Right, that's what I did. Woman in front of me hears me, knows what I'm laughing about, just turns around and glares at me and says, "Well, he's just saying it the way it's spelled." Who cares? It's still wrong. What kind of logic is that? She said, you shouldn't laugh at him in public. You could hurt his self-esteem. I'm like, really? Who told you that? A psychiatrist? You guys are good, man. That'd stun you how many times that joke gets missed. You guys are pretty good. That's all right. You guys aren't bad. I guess if I do have a story, it's this one. I was doing some stuff out in L.A., flew out of Kansas City. Now, we had to make an emergency stop in Denver because the pilot explained to us they miscalculated the distance to Los Angeles. I thought distance would have been one of those little pesky details they would have had worked out ahead of time. But apparently nobody at Delta Airlines ever heard of Google Maps or anything. So now we're on a time like 4, 5, 6 hours waiting for our flight. We're the emergency flight. So we fly out, get our window. We get into LAX. It is a ghost town. They ask who has luggage, and there's about 4 of us that have luggage. They said, we're going to take you down to the VIP carousel because luggage comes out quicker down there. So they lead us down there. And I'm going through this thing, and everybody else gets their luggage, and I'm just waiting. It's just me, and I see my bags, and I grab them, and as I turn to rip them off the carousel, there's a guy behind me I didn't see, and boom, bang into him. As I'm looking over, he stumbles over, his glasses fall off and everything, and I start to apologize, and he looks over at me, and it's Brad Pitt. And we have this really in-depth, meaningful conversation, one-on-one in the basement at LAX Airport, just me and him, like, oh, dude, I am really sorry. He's like, oh, don't worry about it, walks off. Yeah. So I was telling my wife about that. She said, that's amazing. Did you get your picture taken with him? No. Why not? Why would I do that? She said, then I'd have a picture I could show all my friends, you standing next to Brad Pitt. That is not something I want her to possess. Photographic evidence where she can go, yeah, this is the guy I always wanted. He kind of does look like fat Harry Potter, doesn't he? I can see that, yeah. I can see that. Now that you say that. I talk about my wife a lot when I'm on stage, and she's great. You know, we've been around each other for a long time. We came in the same class. You know, we were in the same grade. In a school where kindergarten through 12th grade is all in one building. You know, it's a really small class, so I've always known her. She is the first girl in 3rd grade where I ever remember looking at somebody else and thinking she was cute before I even really understood what that meant. We grew up, we were always classmates, always friends, dated once or twice in high school, nothing really came of it. We go our separate ways after high school. We come back years later, we get engaged, bring together the blended family, you know, get married. We've been married almost 10 years, and I'm as happy now as I've ever been at any point in my life. In some capacity, whether it's wife, fiance, classmate, friend, or 3rd grade crush, she has been a part of my life for almost 40 years, and I still don't understand a thing about her. We started to go to the movies the other night, and she gets in the Jeep, and she's got a pillow and a blanket. I said, did you say movies or moving? She goes, no, I just want to be comfortable. Okay. About 10 minutes down the road, she says, can you turn down the air? I'm hot. No, I can't. Well, Chad, I'm hot. Well, throw your double comforter in the back seat. Maybe you cool off a little bit. Chad, you're swerving all over the road. Yeah, I'm getting hit by the side by your twin-size mattress every time I make a right-hand turn. Yeah. I woke up one morning and she was mad. I woke up. She was mad. Just standing in the bathroom doorway, just glaring at me. She might have been there like 3:30 in the morning. I have no idea. Like, hey, baby, how'd you sleep? Oh, like you care. Boom. She comes walking back out. I'm like, what's going on? She said, I'm tired of you flirting with other girls. Well, what are you talking about? Well, last night I had this dream. Hold up. Yeah, that's the finger point joke right there. That's what that one is, yeah. I said, this happened in a dream? Yeah. Okay. Because now I have to see how crazy this is going to get, you know. Yeah, I said, I know how you like brunettes. Sitting there talking with this little brunette, talking with her, flirting with her. You're lucky I didn't go fight her. I'm lucky that in your dream, You didn't go fight the girl that doesn't exist. I'm not really sure how that's me dodging a bullet, in all honesty. I didn't talk to you the whole bus right there. What bus? We're on a school bus. Why are we on a school bus? Where are we going? Vanilla Ice concert? Let me tell you something. You put me on a school bus to go see Vanilla Ice, I might try to start talking with a brunette. It's older, man. I'm getting older. I'm at a point in my life where, like, the left side of my head or the other side of my head, like, when I'm not a young guy, and I know that, but I don't feel old. And so, like, those two things come in conflict every once in a while, and I just look at things a little bit differently. Like, I'm to the age now where I'm not even really attracted to girls. I still find women beautiful by nature, but like a 22, 23, 21-year-old girl, I don't even notice them anymore. I'm that guy. It doesn't matter how hot they are because eventually they'll talk. I know that's mean to say. Chad, you probably shouldn't say that. Old guy part of my head's like, what do you care? You're going to leave the show, go back and take a bath and soak your back before you watch Frasier reruns. What do you care? It doesn't matter. It's just they do things now that bug me. You know, like they change the spelling of their normal names so they're unique and mysterious, and just, can't stand it. I was signing something for a girl after a show one night. She said, yeah, can you make that out to Cindy? Sure. Should I tell you how to spell it? Didn't think so. C-I-N-D-Y? No, it's S-I-N-D-I. What? Make this one out to Dawn. D-A-W-N? No, D-H-O-W-H-N. What are you doing? Is that the rule now? You just pick any name, spell it how you want? Fine, I'm going to do that. I'm going to change my name. I'm going to spell it Z-J-K-P-P-N-Q. Really, what's your name? Ed. I read a story about a teenage girl that was carjacked in Oklahoma. She pulls up to a stoplight. Guy walks over, opens the door, grabs her, throws her out, gets in her car, slams the door, takes off. Now, she is wearing a zip-up hooded sweatshirt, and the hood gets caught in the door. She's getting dragged down the street. As she's being dragged, she reaches into her pocket, pulls out her cell phone, dials 911. This part of my head's like, oh, that's pretty smart. She's really lucky. And this part of my head's like, is there not a situation where a teenage girl won't get on a phone? And that one night, a woman in the back of us goes, well, funny boy, what would you have done? I don't know, probably this. It's just me. I'm older, man, getting out of shape. You want to know how you know you're getting out of shape? When you get out of breath blowing on the food to cool it down that you're trying to eat. It's a big hint. So I got to start exercising more. That's the thing. I'm looking at the machine I can buy and take on the road with me. And here it is. I'm watching the infomercial. And here's the big picture of the guy at the before picture. What did he look like before? And here's the machine. And he's working out with it. He's real vigorous on it. That's what he looks like in the after picture. I'm like, man, maybe I should buy that thing. Work out with it just 3 times a week for 20 minutes each time. And maybe I could look like that guy in the before picture. You guys left me hanging on that one for a second. I'm not even going to lie to you. I know that I eat poorly. I know that it doesn't escape my attention, but everybody wants to tell me how to eat. I'm driving overnight one time, tired, just ready to get home, order some stuff in the drive-thru around the corner, and there's a woman standing outside of her car stopping me. I said, are you okay? And she said, yes, don't go get your food yet. Why? I said, because I told them we didn't want the food that they had already prepared. We wanted our food prepared fresh. Lady, I just ordered 3 cheeseburgers off the dollar menu at McDonald's at 2:45 in the morning. I am well aware of the level of cuisine I'm about ready to have. Why don't you get out of my way while the chef prepares yours the way you want it? Let him throw my fat in a sack and get on down the road. I've got places to be. I was at a nice restaurant one time and the waitress walked over and said, have you had time to look at the menu? Yes, I have. What can I get you? I said, I'm a very basic, straightforward kind of eater. How about like a steak and a baked potato? She said, okay, perfect. How would you like your potato? Baked. I thought I hit that a second ago. Did I not run through that already? She goes, no, I have 22 different ways I can prepare a baked potato. Would you like to hear the list? No, I don't want to hear the list. Make it hot. Put it in your pocket and walk around with it for a second. I don't care. Heat it up. How would you like your steak? Well done. Oh, I'm sorry. We don't prepare our steaks well done. Well, that's okay because it's not our steak. I'm not trying to sound like a horrible person here, but I planned on eating it all by myself, you know? She said, no, the cooks won't prepare it that way, but you can have it done any other way. Oh, any other way? Do you do medium? Yes, we do. We'll do that twice. I've got a buddy that's really into juicing. He's like, man, if you juice fruits and vegetables, you get so many more vitamins and nutrients. I said, let me make you some. I don't know. Come on, let me. Well, what's in it? Well, this has kale and carrots. No. He's like, no, I'm also going to put some beets in it. Oh, good. There for a second, I thought it was going to taste like crap. Glad you added some of those plump, delicious beets I've been craving. You could mix in a little broken concrete and rock salt and really help wash that down. That'd be fantastic. Yeah. You do insane things to try and stay in shape. Though I had some people come up to me after a show and like, hey man, let me ask you a question. Do you play volleyball? I was like, oh yeah. When actually the correct answer is, oh no. They asked me a personal question about myself to my face, and I got it wrong. That is very difficult to do. They said, we really don't need you to play, but it's like our big championship game. We thought it'd be cool if you just like stay on the side and kind of make some jokes. I'm like, hey man, that's cool, I can do that. So I get there and I've got an old pair of basketball shorts on, like a t-shirt from the Chuckle Hut in Tennessee or wherever it's from. And my teammates come in and they're all in these really nice looking uniforms. I'm like, guys, I don't have a uniform. Like, it doesn't matter, you're not going to be playing. Perfect, I'm going to get away with this. And they're warming up, and I'm out there helping best I can, and they're loving me, right? Till a guy gets a phone call, he goes, okay. And he looks over at me and goes, we've got it covered, don't worry about it. I don't know what he's getting ready to say, but we don't got it covered. I do know that. And he points at me and goes, you got to play. Hold up. We talked about this. I wasn't supposed to play. He goes, no, 4 guys riding together, their Jeep broke down the interstate. They're not going to make it. If we don't start the game with 6, we're disqualified. You're number 6. And the guy walks in, he's like, hey man, just have a little fun and reach out to give me one of those, you know? And right when I get about right here, somebody yelled at me and they go, hey Thornsberry, and I look away and I missed. I didn't connect that, which should have been their first clue that I might not be the athlete that they were banking on. And we get in our little huddle, and the guy goes, okay, we're going to go cross-face rotation on 2. I don't know what that means. And he gets mad. He goes, cross-face rotation on 2. Yeah, the volume wasn't throwing me off. That's not where you lost me. He said, just stand in the corner of the playing area and try to stay out of the way. Hey, that was my plan from the beginning there, Tim. I don't know what your plan was, but that's what I had to do. It's like, watch out, they've got Andy serving. Who's Andy? Andy was a 3-time All-American at the University of Oregon. He was a reserve for the U.S. men's Olympic volleyball team. And said he's got this weird ability to figure out the weakest player on the opposing team and will attack him. Oh, like a guy not wearing a friggin' uniform? Sherlock Andy can CSI those clues together, can he? Wonderful what they teach in Oregon. I wish this story had a better ending. I really do. Andy served the ball to me 15 times in a row because he is a horrible human being. After the 3rd point, his team goes and sits down. They're just sitting on the side, just texting. probably my guys on my team that aren't getting missiles fired at 85 miles an hour every 7 seconds. Man, this guy sucks. Well, I know that we had to get somebody. I know that. Why is he crying or whatever they were saying? I really don't know if that's what they were talking. We lose 15-0. Their championship season destroyed 1,000%. My fault. Everybody's mad. Everybody leaves. One guy walks back over to him and is like, hey, man, no, it's not your thing. I appreciate your training. He goes, oh, you can't do that either. And walks off. All right. I got to get out of here. Boy, you guys have been cool. This is the fun part of it for me. Life is what happens out there, but this is the fun stuff. But I've got to get back when all this is done and go back to life. I got a call from MasterCard before I left. Said, we need to speak to Mr. Thornsberry. I said, this is he. They said, we called to report some unusual activity on your account. I said, really? What happened? And they said, somebody made a payment. I'm just glad you guys get that joke. That makes me feel very comfortable up here. I'm always afraid like I'm going to be working some really rich golf country club crowd. Like, what's this credit he's talking about? I shan't have a clue, or whatever they say. I really don't know what that was. Apparently, I think rich people use the contraction shan't incorrectly, is what I think. But I was reading an article that said 64% of Americans will have credit issues at some point in their life, which I believe is true, but the article didn't explain the kind of things that people will do to escape creditors. I had a buddy walk up to the club one night, hands me his phone, and said, hey, it's Citibank. Answer my phone for me in Spanish. All right, I took a year of high school Spanish. I was like, hola. I don't guess you caught what I was doing. She said, yes, my name is Cindy. I need to speak to Tony. I was like, no habla inglés. She's like, oh, lo siento, mi amo Cindy. ¿Necesita hablar con Antonio? He goes, what'd she say? She said, you're screwed, essay. Guys, I got to go. I appreciate you hanging out. Thank you so much. Chad Thornsberry. I'm back at Dry Bar. I really appreciate you guys watching again. They had me back, so I hope you guys enjoyed the special. This is the part where I kind of get to beg for money, which is always uncomfortable. If you guys want to leave me a tip, I can tell you that all proceeds do go help to support children. Technically, they're my kids, but still, everything like that. If you send whatever you send, you get to send it to somebody in Crocker, Missouri, where it can do a lot more than you send it to somebody in LA, and whatever you tip won't buy a cup of coffee. If you send it to Crocker, Missouri, it might make a mortgage payment. You don't know. But thanks for watching my special. Thanks everybody here at Dry Bar.